So everyone, I want to introduce Norma Sampson. She is the Executive Director of the Gift of Life. And Norma, how long have you been with the Gift of Life?
I've been with the program for more than 20 years.
Wow, that's a long time. And Norma is all over the place. She is always out doing the groundwork. So we really appreciate you being here with us today,
Thank
Norma.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Norma, I just wanted to start, I think that everybody in Southeast Texas just about has at least probably heard of the Gift of Life, but I think it would be really interesting if you gave a little bit of history on how the Julie Rogers Gift of Life program was founded.
Well, thank you. And we appreciate it. Amazingly, Megan, there's still people that don't know about our program. And that's why we're always grateful for any opportunity to tell our story and certainly share our information about our life-saving services. Our founder and chair is Regina Rogers. And as many know, the Rogers have been an extremely philanthropic family throughout Southeast Texas and really beyond our borders. And Regina's mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And during her phases of diagnostic workup and her treatment, she would often say to Regina, how and what do other women do that can't afford health insurance? And that was always weighing heavily on her heart. And so as a surprise gift to her mom and a tribute, she established a one-time, is what she thought it would be, friends that gathered X amount of dollars to provide 500 free mammograms when they were dedicating the Julian Ben Rogers Cancer Institute. And so when there was an ad agency that was helping with that at Baptist Hospital, and they did a little placard that said Julie Rogers Gift of Life free mammogram. And Regina was like, what is that? And so it was started this initiative that really was a love story in terms of combining her mom's concern for always ensuring others had services and the surprise dedication to her parents with the Julian Ben Rogers Cancer Institute. And we started, that was 30 years ago. So with this 500 free mammograms were really utilized within months by women who needed it. And then that started the further initiatives by Regina to continue that service, to ensure that all women, and particularly those that are medically underserved, had access to these basic life-saving services that so many of us who have insurance can enjoy. So that started our program 30 years ago.
Wow, that is such an amazing story. How heartfelt. I really didn't know some of that. So thank you for sharing that.
Certainly.
Um, and one thing that I think about, Norma, I wonder if our Southeast Texas community really understands just how much work the Gift of Life is doing throughout our community, the impact of the lives of men and women that you guys have had on them. So can you talk a little bit about those numbers? I know that over time, you guys have done so many screenings and you've detected cancer for so many people. Can you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Because when we started originally as a breast program, people, as you said, Megan, they so often just think of us as being a breast women's program, and we are. I mean, that's an important, really pillar of our services is our women's health and cancer prevention, and those services that we underwrite and pay for are for women throughout Southeast Texas who can't afford health insurance to have the provision of free breast cancer screenings, the diagnostic tests that include diagnostic mammograms and ultrasounds, and we even continue to pay for the biopsy. What is unique for women that are medically underserved is there is a state program, a Medicaid stop program, that will actually pay for them to have cancer treatment and reconstructive surgery. So those financial guidelines and what we adhere to of the parameters of those in our program, we follow those state guidelines because we wanted to ensure that what services we were offering, that there was the next level of continuum of care. And no one wants to find out they have breast cancer and not be able to get treatment. So that really empowering continuum of care exists through our services that are, again, paid for by the Gift of Life. And then we navigate women to ensure that they do get enrolled into the Medicaid stop program. It's a breast and cervical cancer program. And then from that point on, they can get their cancer treatment, reconstructive surgery. So from women's program, once we began kind of capturing records 30 years ago, We don't have all of it because we weren't really trending and tracking everyone at that time, but at least at this point, we know that we provided since inception more than 44,000 mammograms, free screening mammograms, and more than 275 women's lives have been impacted who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. This year alone, we've diagnosed 8 women with breast cancer, and we're continuing the navigation and the guidance of them throughout that cancer treatment. So from our women's perspective, that program, we provide and underwrite the cost of all of the medical cost. We also have and continue educational outreach because we feel like that's so important to give them information so they can take that home to their families, as well as our bilingual translators, transportation, and our full medical program service staff are there with these ladies, helping them throughout some of the most difficult transitions in their life. Because, as you know, people that have cancer and families, it's not just one person isolated that's impacted. The entire family is impacted by that. And often moms are single moms and they need other ancillary support. And so Gift of Life comes in and helps with some of those supplemental services as well. Our men's program, which we began once Regina's uncle, actually the story behind that was her uncle who had health insurance, was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and he passed away because of it. And it was just that at that time, awareness and the discussion of prostate cancer was really not out it was not really discussed. And so that was our first initiative, was to try to let all men know about the risk and symptoms of prostate cancer. And we started our men's prostate and now our men's health and cancer prevention program, where it's be a man, get checked. And we screen men throughout the year now, and they're provided with a PSA, a primary care test, HIV, Hep C, and a cardiovascular panel, which is wonderfully augmented by local physicians and medical professionals who help us ensure that men that receive the point of care and have any abnormal outcomes are navigated to the appropriate, either a federally qualified clinic or Baptist hospital, their residency program. And then our program continues underwriting those costs for men who need additional care as it relates to their prostate cancer, the abnormal outcomes from that. So again, we have bilingual translators and transportation that assist the men throughout this particular journey. And to date, 77 men have been diagnosed with prostate cancer because of our initiatives.
And Norma, if men or women are thinking, I might need to resource the Gift of Life and contact them, can you talk about the screening qualifications for both men and women, and how do they go about contacting the Gift of Life?
Right. Well, for the women, again, we follow the federal poverty guidelines, and those are established guidelines. And again, what's so important, Megan, is we want to make sure that not only are you eligible for our services, but you also will qualify for the Medicaid STOP program. And so and that's income and number of dependents. And so it's kind of a formulated variables that you can really assess when we do the intake. And then for men, it's a little bit of a difference because there are no federal programs that support any of men's health. So that is one in which we have basically set parameters that if you are medically underserved, meaning you can't afford health insurance, and or your deductibles, which, as you know, many people have such a high deductible that they really can't afford to get labs and other tests. So the criteria is a little bit more of an organic in the sense for the men's program, because there are no federal or state programs to subsidize any of the treatment beyond that. So for men who have elevated abnormal outcomes from the primary care or the PSA, Gift of Life navigates those men with the abnormal PSAs if they meet our medically underserved criteria, and we continue paying for them to see local urologists. And for those who have insurance and they do have a plan in place, they are navigated to those clinics or the Baptist residency program where there's a sliding scale so that they can continue to get the care and the follow-up they need, because most of them we found have high blood pressure, cardiovascular, outcomes in terms of the cholesterol panel that is abnormal, and or Some of them will have high sugar and they have diabetes. So what we see for the majority of the men, of whom we've screened this year nearly 400, is that just about all of them have high blood pressure, and many of them need the follow-up primary care. But some of those men have been navigated through our program, and they're being seen now by the Southeast Texas Urology Associates.
Wow. And those numbers that you mentioned earlier, Norma, are remarkable. I mean, 8 women just in this year alone have been diagnosed with breast cancer through the gift of life. And I think that with October, everybody has come to know that it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But the gift of life does so much work outside of screenings and diagnosing men and women with cancer. You also do so much work to bring awareness to our community and to talk about prevention and early detection. Can you talk about why early detection is so important?
Yes, and it is, irrespective of your age or any of those other variables that you might think you're kind of bulletproof, really people need to be good stewards of their own health. And so we believe at the youngest of age, we're even going into second and third graders, we're bringing these cancer prevention messaging, particularly for the young children, about don't vape your life away. And we talk about the anti-tobacco initiatives that we contour to each one of the particular audiences and grades when we go to the schools. And that's our Don't Smoke Your Life Away, an anti-tobacco initiative. And then depending on the audience, and we do get calls from churches and businesses, we'll contour a presentation to talk about the relevancy of those diseases and illnesses that are germane to that particular group. So, but it does include from, again, our men's, from the cardiovascular, diabetes, HIV, Hep C, and all of the other kind of concomitant life-threatening diseases that we see in our area. And again, proactively trying to make young people and adults aware of behaviors and healthy lifestyles they can incorporate that will certainly reduce the incident and the risk associated with cancer, such as tobacco use. Is 1/3 of all cancer deaths are related to tobacco. And most of us know, and we hear now about trying to stay at a good weight, a body weight, a BMI, exercise, not smoking, limited alcohol intake. All of those are kind of basic core principles that we do include those in our outreach, and again, go into more detail as it relates to certain cancers in our area, which have now become increased in terms of colon cancer as well as esophageal cancer. So we're always organic in changing that message so that we're hopefully empowering our population, all women and men and families, to take good care of themselves, get screened. Many people are frightened to go see the doctor or get screening, but you're really empowered by having knowledge and having that earlier intervention so that you have a better prognosis.
Yeah, and I know that I really appreciate all of the work that the Gift of Life does, bringing awareness to the different types of cancers and just being proactive about your health and, staying on top of it. If you notice that something's off, it really might be. So always, go get checked. That early detection is so important and it can save a life too, right?
Yeah, you often have that little voice in your head. I think women do often. And that's part of what, like even with our Julie Richardson Proctor 5K breast and ovarian cancer walk. I mean, that was part of why we started that whole initiative. It was really about heightening awareness of risk and symptoms associated with ovarian cancer, which is called the silent disease, as well as breast and other cancers. So that walking on the pavement where we're trying to enhance opportunities where people will hear about the risk and pay attention to that voice often that we have when we feel like something's just not quite right. See your physician, give us a call. Although we have certain medical services that we provide, but we never turn a deaf ear to someone that calls us and needs a helping hand, or if we can help navigate them to the correct resources.
That is so wonderful. I'm here to say firsthand that the Gift of Life is absolutely amazing. They are all angels among us.
Thank you.
And with that, I know that we talked about all of the different resources that you guys bring to Southeast Texas. One thing that you have for survivors of cancer is your Active Living After Cancer program. Can you talk a little bit about that? I think that that program is so unique and it could be really resourceful to so many people living in Southeast Texas who are survivors of cancer.
Thank you. And we are delighted and honored to be a participant of this program. It's actually an MD Anderson evidence-based program. We're a subrecipient of this amazing initiative that, as you said, it's called Active Living After Cancer, ALAC, and it is free. It's available to any cancer survivor, men, women, and it has proven to be not only evidence-based in terms of transforming in terms of health outcomes, but it has been one of camaraderie, of support, and their own classes and groups of individuals. As a matter of fact, they're all coming together for the 5K walk. And so it's a great 12-week Zoom right now, but we're going to be in person soon, free class. It's a curriculum that's been based on proven outcomes with MD Anderson. So this activities, nutrition, information, and fun is infused into these classes. And we've got great ALAC coaches who have a wealth of medical and public health experience that share their time, share their knowledge. And again, it becomes really a platform for camaraderie and friendship for many people, some of whom are recently cancer survivors and have rung the bell, or those that have been a survivor for years but really need a connection and are happy to share some of their life experiences through their journey of cancer to others who are having some of the paths of fear as they're approaching some of the after effects of when you're no longer with your doctors and you're no longer going to the same place you've been going time after time. You're sort of like on an island after you've been so immersed in the medical care and seeing people, and then you're on your own journey, if you will, after that. So this class, augmented by our breast and prostate cancer support groups, has been one of which we've received such positive outcomes and really positive sentiments from all of those that participate. And they can call the Gift of Life. We've got flyers, we have it on our website, and we encourage anyone who has gone through treatment and completed that to sign up and be with us.
Yeah, and I think that that connection, that sense of community is really important for cancer survivors. You know, they can talk about their triumphs, they can talk about their struggles, and they can also continue to receive information to help them live as healthy as possible after their fight with cancer. So that's really special. I hope that a lot of people use that as a resource here in Southeast Texas. Well,
Thank
Norma,
you.
oh, sorry. Before we go, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about the Monster Dash 5K that's coming up.
Thank
Yay!
you. Yeah, I'd be delighted. We're putting on our tennies and lacing up to save lives. This is our 12th annual Julie Richardson Proctor 5K ribbon run and walk. And so we're excited. It's a monster dash. And so we encourage everyone, put on your costume and come be with us for a good cause, that all of the funds stay local, support our services, and help women throughout Southeast Texas. It's a day of fun and festivities that kicks off with a harvest of heroes, where we have singers and celebratory messages, and we recognize our survivors. And then the walk begins, a run begins at 9 o'clock, and it's a 5K, which is a route full of robust candy stations, cheer stations, and entertainment. And then we'll have lots of goodies and giveaways on the course. And then everyone can come back to the Wellness Village, where again, we're, as you have said, so important, and we're having all kinds of booths and information from medical professionals and others about good health and healthy lifestyles that we hope people will come by, take home the giveaways, and the Jefferson County Medical Societies there giving away hard hats, and others have really invaluable information. So it's a empowering yet family fun Halloween experience with a Gift of Life, where again, all the funds stay local and help us save lives in Southeast Texas.
Yes, and it is such a fun event. And I promise you, when you leave there, you just have such a full heart. It's so much fun and your cup is overflowing. And Norma, for any businesses, are you guys still needing candy stations or other sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, we would deeply appreciate anyone who would like to be a sponsor of the 5K. And we really go what we believe is just a wonderful recognition platform. They're recognized in all of the print material, signage, and social media. And we are happy to open the doors on the route to anyone that would like to have a candy station and distribute their company goods or materials, as well as delicious candy that will have. Some are granola bars and fruit as well, but there are many opportunities still. So we encourage and invite anyone to call us at our office at 409 833 3663, or they can go online to giftoflifebmt.org and just let us know. We're here and we would enthusiastically welcome any and all support.
Yes, and then for anybody who is wanting to participate in the run or the walk, when is the latest time that they can sign up for that?
Well, we're probably a little unusual. You can walk in that morning and we'll sign you up. You can participate that morning. We do have registration packet pickup, and if you want to register the week of the run and the walk, and that's that Thursday. Gosh, isn't that terrible? I think it's October the 27th. So the week of the walk, that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're at the Civic Center. You can come from 9 to 6 p.m. and you can pick up your packet, you can register, and we'll be there. So we welcome everyone. There's photo opportunities, and every survivor, or pardon me, every breast, ovarian, and gynecological cancer patient or survivor is our guest. It's complimentary, so they can call us, they can come by. We have a little gift and swag bags. Everyone who registers gets a t-shirt, a swag bag, literature, and lots of other goodies. So it's a $35 registration, and we encourage everyone to raise funds, form a team, and be with us at this very important monster dash of the year.
Yes, and so if you haven't signed up yet or you forget, it's never too late. Like Norma said, you can walk in the day of. And also, that is so special that you guys give a gift, and it's a complimentary sign up for fighters or survivors. I'm here to tell you there is nobody that makes a cancer survivor or a fighter feel more special and more loved than the gift of life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And y'all have been with us. Neches has been with us in so many of those activities. And you guys too get out and do a really wonderful job of greeting the survivors, and again, showing the community impact of Neches Federal Credit Union. We thank you for your support, and you have been such a wonderful, cherished partner in our initiatives.
Oh, thank you, Norma. Thank you so much. I think I speak for everybody at Natchez when I say we are so proud to be partnered with the Gift of Life. We're really having a fun month, a meaningful month, joining forces with you guys to bring awareness to our community.
Thank you for that. It's certainly what has made us sustainable after 30 years. And plus, you young, wonderful people at Natchez keep us alive too. So we're some of us that have been here doing the pavement for a long time. We appreciate these young walkers and participants being part of our program. So thank you for volunteering and certainly for supporting our life-saving initiatives.
Thank you, Norma. Well, that's all I have for today. Do you have anything that you'd like to add before we close out?
Just to say again, thank you to individuals and businesses who support the Gift of Life, keep us alive, keep us in the opportunity to pay it forward and help those in our community who simply have nowhere else to turn often but the Gift of Life. And I also want to say thank you to so many individuals who've supported us. We have so many physicians and individuals and others who are there for us every time we ask for their help. We have an amazing philanthropic community, and we certainly feel blessed to be part of that.
Wow. Thank you so much, Norma, for joining us today. I'm really honored that you took the time to sit and educate our members and let them know all of the wonderful things that the Gift of Life is doing throughout our community.